Hey guys, so as usual, I thought I'd provide some Cyber Dragon replays, and this time post Magnificent Mavens. Now, admittedly, for most rogue decks, it is quite the uphill battle, but I know there's a lot of you out there who really like to play their pet decks, and so I thought I'd provide the replays to help you learn how to play this deck optimally if you're new to the deck. And so usually I provide a deck profile first, but I'm waiting for my Therion cards to come in the mail, and so I will have a formal deck profile up later this week, but for now, we'll go over these replays. And I guess before we begin, actually, you can check out some really cool playmats and sleeves at Imperium Duelist. You can use my code Hakuna10 for 10% off, but really just use whatever code from whatever your favorite YouTuber is. And so yeah, anyways, let's just get right into the replays. Alright, so this first replay is against Draco Slayers, which got its new support in Darkwing Blast. So I think it's really cool that a Pendulum archetype is actually somewhat playable right now. I believe it has a pretty good tier matchup from what I heard. So he's gonna use the Luster Pendulum and then add that. And then this is one of the newer cards, Majesty Pegasus. I don't really know what to improm against this deck because I'm just not familiar with it at all. I know the Sadzi can add the Sky Iris. I know Beyond the Pendulum is also a very good one to imperm. So, I mean, you know, this is what happens when you're not familiar with the strategy and you try to see what happens. And so now there's the Beyond the Pendulum to add. And then keep in mind that's why the scales are negated, because you use this link effects turn, or this turn rather. So someone tell me if this is sort of like a typical Draco Slayer thing. I'm not quite sure. So I do use Magnuma here. Interesting thing with Celine is it actually does not target what its specials, and also can special from hand, which is not something I'm accustomed to. I'm always used to it just specialing from the grave, and I figured this was the only spellcaster in the grave at the time. That's why I banished it. I did declare Magnuma though, because it's on the summon, and then you just add on the end phase. So it did get shuffled back with the Ignister, but it's okay. And so this is why I'm asking if this is normal for a Draco Slayer board. This is kind of interesting because it's like Zealantis. Okay, pop everything so that you can, I guess, go into Heraldic Seal. I'm not sure how optimal that is, but we do get Hope Harbinger on here. So, and he does have the set Call by the Grave. And so for turn, we're gonna actually start off with the Kaiju of the Harbinger, and that's because, let me just explain. So for those of you not familiar, if Summer Emergency if the activation gets negated, you can like discard it just to add it back to your hand, and because the activation was negated, you can play it again. The problem is Hope Harbinger can attach spells as material after it negates, so that's why I did it. And for those of you who are new, just remember, if it got ashed, then you cannot use it again because only the effect was negated. Armorflash Slot. I'm gonna also pause quickly here. Basically, this locks me from being at the special from the extra deck. A few years ago when Pendulum was meta relevant, this actually was played where Odd Eyes Meteor Burst would summon this out from the scale, and it would be at its 2300 attack, which makes it way more difficult. Right now it's at 0 because it was brought up by Seal, so it's really not that bad. We're gonna bring out the Duel's Room just so we can crash, and then we can just use its effect to send the Kaiju. That way we can at least deal some damage this turn. And so now we get the Cyber Dragon Core Engrave, so we can activate Repair Plan and then use the Soldier to pitch hers, and then we're going to try to use hers to add back the core instead because we already have the 2 level 5 bodies. He does Call by the Grave, negate it, really doesn't matter. We already had the 2 5 bodies, and we go into Infinity. And then so now he's gonna use, this is where me not being familiar with the matchup, I decided to negate that because I'm worried about that Draco Slayer coming back. But realistically, perhaps I should have just waited until he actually brought it out, which he is gonna do again, and then actually negate it when he tries to do it. Shuffle me back. So here, usually I actually do use Almirage here just to get rid of it, in case they were smart enough to not attack Almirage, because I have Core Engrave, and so it's actually beneficial that I don't have any monsters. So we do have the field spell. We're gonna have the Therion, make sure to not summon it yet because you need to have a cleared field before you can use Core's effect. We're gonna bring out the Naxtra from deck, which allows us to get the Nova, go into Infinity. Now we can get the I'm gonna pause here. So it went a little fast. So the way this happened was that, interestingly, Fortress it requires Cyber Dragon, right? But it actually says sending the above cards. Cyber Dragon does not have to be a monster. It can be in the equips as an equip spell. You can still contact fuse it. So that's why I contact fuse the Cyber Dragon and Naxtra for Fortress, which is wild ruling, but it is legal. And just make sure that it has to be original Cyber Dragon for that play to work. I can attack over everything, and he has no cards in his hand, so really it was game over for him. So let's just move on to the next replay. Alright, so the second replay is against Kashtira, which I believe in the OCG is actually quite meta relevant, not for us yet. Photon Hypernova, I believe it comes in February, and that's where it gets really good. So he's going to the Sorcerer Synchro. which is kind of works out well because, you know, with every time it something's banished, like this can trigger. The Fenrir is something you're more familiar with, I'm sure, because it's more generic and a lot of lists. This guy's kind of cool because he can actually like start locking out your monster zones one by one. We're going to start with the Naxxur and the Machine Dupe. One thing I do want to mention here is that it's actually a good thing we didn't draw a core, because Core's effect on summon is mandatory, which means on resolution after we add, Fenrir is just going to banish it and we just get screwed. Luckily, Naxxur is something that, you know, we can't even use its effect anyways, and so we were able to just go into the Infinity play, suck up that Source Soul, which is good because it's very hard to out usually. He should not have used this Fenrir effect because now I get to just destroy that for free. And then we have one more Machine Dupe. I'm also a Yu-Gi-Oh player though, and I do not read, so I did not realize this thing had battle protection. So I would not have gone into Seeger otherwise, so don't make that mistake next time you face against this deck, because I should have just went into Zeus without the Seeger. But that's how you learn. And so here we have the Emergency, and then he's going to start locking at zone because we actually banish face down because of Prosperity. And so here we are going, well, he brings out the Unicorn. I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's just clear the board here. And so he's going to bring out the Ogre, which is fine. I think he was just trying to bait out that Zeus swipe. Basically what this does is like it excavates, banishes one card face down, the rest are just put in the same order. Uses the Psy Beast, make it at the same level as this guy. I'm like, before he goes to the Xyz, maybe I should wipe it. He does have that trap though. So now he uses the trap to special Fenrir, which is pretty nice actually. So I actually have to go attack over it because I don't want him to banish like my core. So I use a Therion. Now here is interesting. Originally, the reason I got the Emergency was so that I can get the Naxxur, pitch to Regulus, and, you know, start going, like, bring out the Infinity and whatever. The problem was, so the first Naxxur got banished under Shifter, and then he actually banished that second Naxxur with the Ogre. So that's why I'm like, oh man, I should have checked before I did that, and that's why I'm kind of doing this weird play. So we have the Phoenix, and so we're just going to pass there. Luckily, he has nothing. This guy's kind of interesting. I think this is a retrain of this really old card, which basically also loses and gains a lot of life. So here we have the core. We get the Cyberlow Fusion because we actually have a decent amount of banished Cyber Dragon monsters, and then we can like put that in and then just like start attacking for a game. So let's move on to the next one. Alright, so I really wanted to get replays with like against Ishizu and a little bit of Sprite, but it was really hard getting paired up with someone playing this deck. I was playing a lot of matches, so unfortunately I don't have too many. This is one of the Sprite matchups though. He's gonna go into the Angler, bring out the two Beavers. This card is so good. The Gigantic, bring out, he's going for the Ibly lock. I'm not a big fan of this because I also play Sprite. I prefer the Toad line, but then again, now with the Ishizu stuff, the Toad line gets pretty difficult to actually resolve because they're just shuffling back your Fog. We're gonna start with the Field Spell. He shotguns Smasher here. I don't think that's very good. We're gonna go with the Core. And this is kind of funny. He takes my core. I don't think he realized I can still contact fuse. Of course, not right now because of Ibly. I am locked, and I have to actually get rid of it by attacking it. And one thing, so basically, Mega Fleet, it can be from either field. So because he had the Cyber Dragon core, I actually still was able to contact fuse it away for free. And so now he's going to summon the Magma Nut and some of you might think, why is he shotgunning that? That's a bad idea, but I don't think so because he's actually kind of smart, I think. Because now if I had Repair Plan, it would be dead and I would not be able to do it. And also this gives him just that extra body for the Unicorn if he has to do it. So it actually was not bad. So we're gonna actually Kaiju it in case he unicorns this, which would have been pretty deadly. And now next year we can now do the Nova Infinity play. Go Nova, bring the Hers. We'll go into Infinity. Actually go into Anima first. We're not locked into machines right now because we didn't use next year's Revival effect, only the special effect. And so he does get to add with the Druid's Room. I'm not sure why he bothered even summoning right now, but I am able to negate. And so yeah, that's it for Sprite. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so now it's Labyrinth, which is another new strategy that's been introduced recently, and so I'm not sure how good it is. I don't think trap decks are really good right now, and he shotguns Rivalry, which kind of tells you something that maybe he's not the most, he's not playing it optimally, but you know what, it happens. So we're going to start off with the Prosperity. Rivalry really does not matter for us, except for I guess the Best Shield part, but really, we're all machines. So we're going to go Machine Dupe. I'm not even sure, oh I guess, ooh, Gravedigger's Trap. I haven't seen that in a while. We're going to go into Infinity right away first because we do have that second Machine Dupe. And we're just going to battle first. We are under Prosperity. He's not going to die anyways. So main 2, we're going to just set stuff and pass. We are under rivalry. I could not go into like Phoenix to pop a set or something like that. So basically he's trying to use servant effect. We're gonna try to pop that, and then he's gonna try to summon the lady. We'll pop the sets before it comes. We also have the Cyberload fusion, which I'll show you soon, to be able to pop more back row when the Rampage comes out. So now Infinity Z, and on end phase, on resolution should be chain link 1, that way Rampage does not miss timing. Make sure to check my video out for that. And I also have like the Magnificent, and he just concedes there. But yeah, so the cybernetic overflow and cyberload fusion, that combo is very, very deadly. So let's move on to the next one. Then we have Sky Strikers, which got a little bit of support recently in Magnificent Mavens, but Strikers have always been a pretty good matchup for us because we can contact fuse away their extra deck monsters and it would not trigger Ray. We're gonna just do our standard Soldier and well, I guess we don't have the Hers this time, but we can still use Soldier. He does Shark Cannon. That was not good. He should have saved that for later. But anyways, we're gonna bring out the realistically, I should have just gone into Phoenix first to pop it. I don't know why I didn't. But, you know, we do the... And then Therion gets the trigger, which is kind of nice. Put that Druid's Worm in Grave, because Magnificent can also add from Grave as well. So it's kind of cool. I might as well do it that way. He's going to Shark Cannon and Linkage. This is the new card from Magnificent Mavens. Lets him get that extra deck monster. So it's kind of cool. He's going to go into Zeke and banish my Infinity until my end phase. And then goes into Shizuku and adds. So now we are going to just summon this, might as well, because then we can just add the Druid's Worm, or rather Surrender, and then we can just have multiple. And this, even if he had Ray, this would have been deadly. And that's why, you know, the Bestials, as well as the Ishizu cards, makes rogue decks very, very hard to play. So let's just move on to the next one. Alright, so this last replay is against Zodiac, which certainly is far from its old days, and I really wanted to get a lot of Ishizu tier matchups for you guys, but I just wasn't getting paired with any of them, which was really surprising. I played so many games, so unfortunately I don't have any for you guys. So Dimension Shifter though, I guess maybe that's why it maybe stands a little bit of a chance against Ishizu tier. Not really, they're just gonna get steamrolled. So anyways, we're gonna start with the Prosperity. And just doing 3 because we do have another copy, and we're actually just gonna pass because we're under Prosperity. We're not gonna kill them, and with Zodiac, if you kind of set up a little bit and don't kill them, they just go into Zeus and then just wipe everything. There's just no point, and they don't really OTK anyways. So he does go into Zeus though, and that's totally fine. So we actually don't even bother with the Improm because I wanted to use Zeus effect because of talents, and he made a huge misplay actually. He Improms and then he clears the board, so my core actually still resolves because it was not on field. And then we're gonna bring back the core Machine Dupe. One thing though, I can't go into Homage with this because it was special summon and not normal summon now. And so having realized that, that's where I messed up. I definitely could have OTK'd here, where I didn't even have to bother with the Infinity. I could just go into like the Nova and keep it, use its effect, bring a Cyber Dragon back, and then like and although to do that I would have had to link these two away first for Seeger just to have that Cyber Dragon Grave, and then that way you have a 2100 Cyber Dragon attack, Seeger attack, that's 42, and then Nova attack, damage step, use its effect, banish the Cyber Dragon, make it 42, and then that would have been game. But it's okay, honestly. At least you guys know that. It's just something that I quickly realized after doing this play. So that was very dumb. So we can go into Therion though, and we'll just do another Prosperity, just add a little bit off the top. Didn't get any interruption, but we do have follow-up with the Inaction in case this were to get sent away. Change of Heart, that's kind of funny. And he just attacks, crashes them. He tries to play mine. Even though Regulus is negated, you can still tribute it as to attempt to negate it, and that's fine. And mine just destroys because we have the same monsters. We use them on that Naxir, bring back like an Infinity attack for game. So yeah. Well, that's it for the replays. Hope you enjoyed that and hope that was helpful. Again, I will bring a deck profile later this week. Definitely just trying to finalize that last bit, but certainly stay tuned for that. Anyways, thanks for watching and take care.